Welcome back to the Dead Air Podcast with me. My name is Rennie, and I'm joined here by my brother and sister, James and Jack. How are you doing, James and Jack?
Yeah, I'm sweet.
I'm
thanks.
good. Yeah. Excited for Christmas.
Woo! And we're also joined by our seventh guest of the podcast, Alex Charles.
Yay!
How are you doing, Alex?
I'm good.
Very good. Today is a very good episode. I think this might go down. I think it's definitely going to go down as my favourite. We've got so much to talk about. As you can see, we're very Christmassy.
You might not be able to see it because of the camera angle,
Yeah,
but
might
it
not.
is Christmas.
And you might also not be able to see it if you're not watching this on YouTube, which is another thing that I sometimes forget to think about. But if you are watching this on YouTube and the camera angles are good, which we've had a lot of trouble with, you'll be able to see that
It might
we've
not
got
be.
some Christmas deco because we're all in the spirit. It's a lot more impressive than it looks on these camera angles because we've had a lot of trouble with them. But we're looking quite festive in here, including unnamed crow skeleton mascot thing. Which
Does it not have a name?
It doesn't have a
It's
name yet.
£9,000 a year.
Should we name it?
I want to paint it purple because that matches with the show. And then once it's painted purple, we will then ask the audience. But if you want to
If you've
suggest
got
a
any
name,
suggestions,
if you've
we
got
can
any
write it down.
suggestions, tell us right now.
Skelly.
Wait, what did you say? Call it Skelly.
Skelly the skeleton.
Skelly the
The
skeleton.
crow.
Skelly the crow skeleton.
Anyway, Skelly, which he could be
raven.
called, is very festive as well. He's got his Christmas hat,
got
which
his
doesn't
hat
really
on.
stay on.
No.
No. Caught in his hat. He caught it.
Well done. So all the three co-hosts, that's not going to go back on, is it? Unlucky. The three co-hosts, we're wearing Christmas jumpers. I've got Christmas things.
Mine's
Which
just
is
a bit wintry.
Stranger Things reference. James has got a surprise with his. Can you show us?
Yeah, I don't know where it is. Oh, so.
Oi!
Lights up.
As
Tesco's finest.
if we don't have enough lights right now in the studio.
Lights out.
Not lights out, dead air.
We don't mention that.
Nope. So, welcome, Alex, to the podcast. Don't worry if the answer is no, just checking. Do you know anything about the podcast? I'm expecting no.
Yes.
You do know.
He's done his research.
Have you watched an episode?
I've listened.
You've
to-
listened to an episode. That's cool.
Is it the
So
one with Cole?
Yes.
Yeah.
there you go. So you know the premise. We're going to soon ask you about your scary story. Or
Okay.
it doesn't have to be scary, sorry, paranormal experience, which is the theme of the show. But you also might see that we're all now wearing COVID-safe face masks, which we should have been wearing for the other two episodes, which maybe we weren't. That's my fault. I thought because we were 2 meters away that it was fine. However, that isn't true. Apparently, in the rules of this place, you have to be wearing them at all times, no matter how far away you are. So we're now, what's the word?
COVID secure.
COVID secure. There's no virus
Are
in
you
here.
sure?
There is no virus in here. Okay, so first question I like to ask, Alex, before we get into your story is,
Are you
you
religious?
religious?
Yes.
Which religion do you...
I'm a Christian.
You're a Christian boy.
Is that brought up Christian?
Yeah. So I was christened, I want to say about 8 years old, like really
Right.
young. Brought up in a sort of very religious family on my dad's side.
Mm-hmm.
My mum is a Christian, but she doesn't always go to church. My dad's side
Right.
sort of heavily like Christian.
Right.
Grandma was baptized, so she goes to church like almost every week.
Mm-hmm.
She's always at like midnight mass on Christmas
Yeah,
Day.
I was gonna say, do you go to it?
Nah, I've never actually been to that. It's one thing that I sort of want to do, but I've just never like.
Me and my brother
So-
say it every year. We live so close to one. We was like, let's go midnight mass. but
Yeah.
then-
Yeah.
It does
I'll go
seem
Wetherspoons
really
instead.
like interesting.
There is a lot more Christianity over on that side of the table than over this one. So can you
Yeah.
explain to us? I'm not sure if you know. I don't know what did you say?
Midnight
Midnight.
mass.
So
mass.
it's basically you go. It's like a normal church. Well, a normal church service, just more focused on like Christmas, Advent, and like
Mhm.
all the events that happened around that time. And it usually starts around like 9 o'clock and leads over midnight. So
Right.
Into Christmas
when
Day.
you leave in like what 3 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
on
On
Christmas,
Christmas
Day.
Day.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they also have massive ones in like abbeys and stuff, and they like televise it and stuff.
Yeah.
So at midnight on Christmas, you can watch it, and they're singing hymns and
That sounds very
Reading.
cool.
Because like usually people come
It does
home,
look sick.
open one present, and then go to bed.
Right. Would it be like your biggest present?
No.
No.
You open the dead present first, and then go to bed.
Right.
Socks.
Fair dues. Okay, so next question is, this doesn't really I would say that the average, like the normal response to that question is usually no about being religious. But so this question doesn't really apply to you as much. But do you think that you have to be religious to be sort of like believing in ghosts, spiritualism?
Oh, no. Because this is the thing. I'm not a good Christian. I will openly say that. I'm not a good Christian.
James can also attest to that.
Do you sin?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like,
Sinner gang.
it's like, but it's like, no, I would say anyone can experience like some sort of scary paranormal activity. Like, it doesn't just have to be based on it. Like, it can literally just be you get very stressed out in a moment and something happens, or like it can just be like you go somewhere and see something. Like, for me, mine was just a build up of like loads of emotions and childhood scares.
Okay.
I don't want to give it's a lot, but
we'll get to it. We'll get to
I'm
it.
excited.
You've seen some bad things down in
I
Croydon.
am excited.
it's a really weird one. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you wouldn't expect from where it stems from, you wouldn't expect it.
Right.
But when you understand it, it's traumatizing. Like, I still can't
Oh my god.
visit that place to this day.
Is it in Croydon?
It's not actually like a place, it's a thing.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Okay.
I can't wait. Okay.
I'm quite liking this setup. I'm liking us being like equals.
Yeah.
All right, cheers.
Jack's got a new power trip right now.
Yeah.
James is like on the verge of not being in this podcast almost. What
He's
is
on
it
the
if you're over
periphery.
there?
What's your podcast called? I could come join you.
I've got Jack over here this time because it's better probably to have two people on each side of the table
'Cause of
rather than
COVID.
all three stuffed over there. Again, we're so safe. God damn.
Is it 2 meters?
It's 1 meter. It's 1 meter. We're like,
It's 2
we're
meters.
sort
The
of a
camera
meter
just makes
away.
it look like one.
So
what can we do?
that's why we've got this setup going on. Hopefully, that's why we've had to change the cameras all around. We've got different perspectives this time. Hopefully, it's okay. But I'm so excited. I don't think I've ever been as excited as I am right now to hear someone's story. So, whenever you're ready, Alex,
Am I going to take away my story?
take it away.
Okay. So this story starts when I was about 11 years old. Little old me just sitting down at about 9 p.m. with my mum and my brother, watching The Wizard of Oz, right?
Mhm.
So I'm already at this point in life, like, I was already scared of like loud things, like dogs barking, all this stuff. Like, I couldn't do it. So this was the first time I've watched this film, and there's a part in the film where,
In The Wizard of Oz.
where I think it's like the Green Witch, like the Witch of the West or something like that.
The Emerald
Yeah.
Witch.
Emerald Witch.
So she comes out, and then I've never in my life seen such a scary character, right? And I just remember looking at it and freezing. And I was like, something's not right here. Because, like, I just froze. And then the next day was Halloween, right? So I remember going up to my room and just trying to get to sleep, but I couldn't get to sleep. And then my window was like, I left it slightly ajar, and the wind just pushed it open. But it freaked me out because it couldn't, like, the wind couldn't have like pushed it open from the inside, which was what was
Right.
really weird. And then my lights went out.
So it opened outwards.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Like a
then
normal
we
window.
had a power cut on Halloween.
Not mine.
So then I was already like, at that point, I was just so scared. And then I remember falling asleep and then waking up halfway through my sleep, and I just kept hearing this rattle like in my ear.
Yeah.
And I just remember waking up, looking out the window, and I see the fucking face of the witch, like, just dead staring at me. I've never screamed so loud in my life.
Oh snap!
And then I remember and then I tried to watch the film like a couple of years later, just to sort of like try and get over that.
Yeah.
And it was the same shit. It's like every time I watch that film, either I look out the window at night and I can just see like the figure of the witch like floating on a broomstick in the
Gosh.
sky, or like I can just hear the voice in my head. Like, I don't know what it is, but that messes with me.
I was thinking before we recorded this episode that we've not done one with the masks on yet, and so I was like, but you don't really need to see the bottom of our face. But I've now realised that you do, because my mouth was like so widely open.
Yeah, no.
Which I just now realise that you can't tell. It just looks like I'm looking at you, but like my jaw dropped. Basically,
No,
is what I'm trying to say.
it's like usually when I hear like paranormal stories, it's like, oh, I've been to like a haunted house and shit and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
they've gone looking for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
this one was like, I just watched the film.
You weren't expecting
I
it.
wasn't expecting
You
it to
weren't
end
looking
like
for
that.
It could happen
And
to any one of us. Like,
it's
just
like I
watching a
literally
film.
can't
A
watch that
kid's
film. I
like that.
refuse to watch. I think there was a lecture where they suggested for us to watch it. I literally couldn't watch it.
Right.
I was like, I can't watch it, otherwise I'm going to get traumatized again.
Was it the original film?
Yeah, it was the original one.
39.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you tried watching Oz the Great and Powerful with
I can't. So my mum
James
wanted to
Franco.
take. My mum wanted to take me to watch Wicked. I was like, I can't do it.
Wicked's banging.
Oh, Wicked's so
can't.
good as well. That's so sad.
I can't do it because I know I'm going to get
But
traumatized.
it's all
again.
about but it's all about her and Wicked.
It's all about the
She's
Move on.
Wicked Witch of
It's
the
like a
West.
goodie.
Yeah,
isn't
she's maybe it would cure you because she's
Yeah.
the good guy in Wicked.
You'll
sort
see a
of.
side to her you've
Still
never
the
seen
green
before.
face.
Yeah, no, that
It's the
is.
green face.
So, god damn. Ooh, spooky. So you were watching this film. It was very scary. The wind then blew your window open
Yeah.
in an impossible manner,
Yeah,
There's not
Uh,
enough force in the wind to blow it from
and
the
then
inside.
you wake up mid
I wake up mid
sleep, ringing in your ear.
ringing in my ear, and then
You
I
see.
look out like so. I have like, you know, those sort of bunk beds, but it has a desk underneath it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I sort of turn my head, my window's behind me. I look and I just see the green face, like just staring.
Right.
Just in the window, like someone was
Yeah,
looking
like
through the
it was,
window.
yeah. It was like
And you
a-
were like fully awake.
And it was like upstairs
Yeah,
as
because
well.
you live up.
Yeah.
Top stairs.
yeah, it was like it was like
So it did.
I live on the top. I live on the upstairs floor. Yeah.
It didn't make sense. Like
None of it made
No.
sense.
No.
Okay.
None of it made
It's
sense.
just-
No.
None of it made sense. It
Gosh.
was just like I looked and I just saw it and I was like, I just froze. Yeah.
That is terrifying. I can relate to you though with the watching something that you thought was really scary when you were a kid, and then
Yeah.
when you're older, still not being able to watch it. Obviously, this isn't
Snakes on a plane.
this isn't a scary story. Nothing paranormal happened to me, but it was just me. This is sort of a story that my older sister probably wouldn't want me to tell on the podcast, so that everyone can hear
But you're
it.
gonna do it anyway.
Well, I'm going to do it anyway. So, do you know Rihanna,
really.
The singer?
the singer
Yeah.
Rihanna?
yeah.
We're all aware of who she is. Do you know the song Disturbia?
Yeah.
Which is the bum
Banger.
bum be dum bum be dum bum.
Yeah.
Yeah, my singing is really good, thank you. So there is a music video for that song. Have you ever seen it,
No.
James?
Yeah, years ago.
The one where Rihanna's like she got like spiders crawling on her and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went to my friend's birthday party around the time that song came out.
Yeah.
And they're like the kind of people that have like MTV running on the living room television
okay,
like
got
throughout
you.
the day.
Yeah.
And so we're all like we were all just sat around the table just listening to the music, not watching the videos. We're all just like talking, listening to the music. And Disturbia comes on, and because it's MTV, obviously it shows the music video on the television. And it's basically for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's different ways of like Rihanna basically being tortured is what I remember it as. So like there's like a bit where she's got her arms, she's like stuck, and there's like spiders crawling all around her. And there's a bit where she's like inside a vent that's really small, and it's like she's stuck there forever and she's going insane. And I hated the idea of like being in a tight space. Like I'm very claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And so when I was watching this, I instantly was absolutely shook to the bone. Like, yeah, I know it sounds dumb because it's like obviously it's just a music video, but I was so afraid of claustrophobia and spiders, and like no one likes torture. But
Yeah.
anyway, there is a reason
some
why
people do.
there is a reason why you don't show like stuff like that to 8-year-olds, because it proper freaked me out. Anyway, I told my sister when I went home that night. I was like, oh, they were watching MTV, and a Rihanna song came on, and it was really scary, the music video. And my sister, who was a Rihanna fan, was like, was it Disturbia? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh yeah, I've seen that music video. She's like trapped in a box. And I was like, yeah, I hated it. And she was like, oh, I like it. It's like bum bum be dum bum. And she was like teasing me. And then she, when I then went into my room that night, she came in my room, put it on the television, and then
my
closed the door
God.
with the remote in her hand.
Oh my god.
And it was playing with the music video.
Oh my
Really,
gosh.
really loud. And I was stuck in there and I was like crying and I was like, oh, let me out. Anyway, she's a lovely person. And she's not like that anymore. That's like the most horrible thing. To be fair, brothers and sisters have done worse to each other. That's like the worst thing she's ever done to me.
Yeah.
And I bring it up all the time and she hates it because she thinks it's like a horrible thing to do. But I can see how she would have thought that it was funny. But I At 19 years old, I'm still not comfortable when that song comes on. I don't even need to watch the video. Just the
It's a good
music,
song.
it throws me back to like one of like the most horrible moments, like but just being so terrified. And I still cannot listen to that song. It still freaks me out.
Is that
Just
the-
listening to the lyrics.
Is that the worst thing your sister did to you then?
I think, yeah, definitely. That's the thing that I mention all the time.
My brother nearly killed me.
Yeah.
Oh no, is that
Not my James, do you want to tell your story and then I'll
Yeah, I can
tell
tell my story about my brother nearly. Actually, he nearly killed me and my other brother. He tried to kill me. He went like he was chasing my
I was
other
gonna
brother.
say,
No, he was chasing.
prison?
No, he was chasing my other brother around like a garden at my granddad's or something, and literally he chased my brother like so much. My brother turned around, ran into, do you know like low tables, like
Yeah.
tables, ran into that and swallowed his tongue.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I think my mum had to get his tongue out, and then when
That's step one, yeah.
I think I would have been like 3 or 4 maybe, and my brother was just feeding me coins.
Oh no.
Why? Fully like putting
Like
like, making me swallow coins.
Like a coin machine.
Yeah, legit. Like there must be like a good £1.50 of like fucking pennies in me.
Tesco meal deals.
Yeah,
man.
mate. Fucking
Cheaper than a Tesco meal.
yeah, and then I started choking.
Well,
Fucking-
I would expect that to happen.
yeah, I think I blacked out, and then I got told that my dad had to tip me upside down and just shake me.
That definitely didn't happen. They've just told you that. That's a lie.
It's probably the only thing that my dad has ever done for me.
like a money box.
Mate, yeah, and then I came back to life. That is one of my brothers.
Well, my story's not about my brother, but it's about my dad, who has been a guest on this show before.
Mhm.
When he was younger, he's got an older sister, but there's only like a year or so between them. He climbed up a ladder to an upstairs bedroom window, and his sister got to the window, got to the ladder, and just pushed it.
What?
So he literally fell
Attempted murder.
from the height. They were only like kids. I don't know why she did it, but he fell from like the height of an upstairs window onto like concrete and smashed his head open. He was in hospital.
Oh no.
Oh,
But he's okay, and
wow.
they're mates now.
Yeah.
It was a long,
mates
long
now.
time ago.
See,
They were only kids when now.
mine was like, it was just like play fighting with me and my brother, because like we used to like watching WWE. I still watch it,
I
but
still watch it too.
he's sort of gone.
Rest
off
in
it.
peace, Undertaker.
So then
He's still alive, mate.
I mean, like,
He's
the
just
character-
he's just retired.
the
He's just
character's dead.
retired.
The character's dead.
Get your stories right.
but no, we used to like do like wrestling matches like in the living room, right? So
Just
then,
feel like your mattress is down there and like duvets and stuff.
yeah, but then there
Like
was this
swanton bombs.
Yeah, but then there was this one. I think it was like recently after I discovered like Seth Rollins, right? So
yeah,
there was
you
this one move that he does, which is
Okay.
like, I think it's called like the curb
It
stomp.
is called the curb stomp.
So basically,
James, you're a
um,
big fanboy of WWE. You got all
Okay,
the
no, I
knowledge.
occasionally watch it.
it's,
I know
imagine
it's-
like just stamping on someone's head, like what, like they're sort of at 90 degrees and you're just stamping on their head into
Lovely.
the ground, right? So bear in mind, my brother's like, well, at this time probably like 5 years old. There's a 7-year age gap between us, right? So
Jesus Christ.
I'm here thinking like, oh yeah, let's have a wrestling match. It'll be fun. And I wasn't purposely like supposed to step on his head.
Oh no.
Like I jumped from the couch onto him, and I was supposed to miss on purpose.
yeah.
Must have mistimed it and just completely obliterated him.
Oh no.
And I was just like, oh shit. And then he started crying really loud, and I was like,
Well, I would
shit,
expect
stop
that.
crying, stop
You're like-
crying.
like-
It's gonna be
you're
all
like-
right. It's gonna be all
You've
right.
crushed my face like a watermelon, and you're like, shh, 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 shh.
Out of all the moves you could
Quiet
have done,
now, child.
that is literally one of the worst moves you could have tried to do to your brother.
When you started talking about WWE, I was like, well, like Batista bomb or like the 619. Was it 619?
619.
Where he does like the weird like thing, and you're like, no, I just stepped on him. Anyway, since we're going full sharing of accidentally killing our siblings, I nearly killed Izzy, my little sister. Not the one that terrorized me.
Imagine Izzy fucking 3 years old terrorizing you.
No. But it was more her fault than mine. To be honest, so she nearly killed herself with my help, is what I mean. But
That's murder.
That's still a
basically where we lived in Spain, there was this park that we used to go to, and there was this swing. And the only way I can describe it, I'm not sure if I don't think I've ever seen another swing like it. So it's like quite an original thing. So I don't think you'd know what I mean. But the only way I can describe it is it's like a seesaw, but instead of a seesaw being like that, it just swings. So it's like it's like a tandem swing. So it's a swing for 2 people on like a big like plank. And I was swinging on it with my cousin Macy. And then Izzy, who I think must have been about 5 years old, comes running past us, and this thing is so heavy. Like imagine basically the weight of a seesaw, basically, made of metal. And Izzy comes running past as we're like going like that, and then she turns. I'm like, Izzy, move! And she turns to see us, and it hits her in the eye.
Oh.
The weight of a full swinging like metal seesaw with me and my cousin on it. To be fair, we probably didn't have that much weight to it because of how massive this seesaw was. Anyway, she had like she still has like a bruise in her eye. So she's like a red splodge in her eye. Totally her fault. But I was there and I kind of contributed to it happening.
To the weight.
But basically, if it would have hit her in like a cranium or something, I don't know, maybe she could have been like really, really badly damaged rather than just having like a weird eye.
Did it not hit her in? Oh no, she hit her in her eye.
It hit her in her eye.
Could have hit her temple, which next to it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what damage that would have done, but I don't like to think about it.
Could have turned her blind. Hit
But
her in the.
Thank God that didn't happen. So, we've had your story. It was terrifying. We've gone on. It's started a lot of conversation. So, one, do you believe in ghosts? Alex.
Oh, yeah. I've
already asked James. I thought
you were going to follow up with another
No.
question. Oh,
well, I'll give you them now. The first question is, do you believe in ghosts in general? And the second question is, if the answer is yes, do you then think that what you saw was ghost related, or do you think it was just something in your mind?
I think yes, I do believe in ghosts, but I think there's a difference between like
Ghosts and paranormal. No.
yeah,
Ghosts and like spirits.
yeah, ghosts and spirits. I think there's a sort of kind of difference. And
Yeah.
I think what I saw was more a ghost, but it was more in my mind,
Right.
and I think that's sort of why it triggered it more because it was the fear, and then
So
it all just happened.
not as much a physical ghost, but more like something got in your head.
Yeah, I think it's like if it's like from an experience and you're scared of that experience,
Mhm.
it's more in your head and then it becomes a reality
Right.
in that sense. So it's like
That makes
it's
a lot
still
of sense.
it's still kind of a ghost, but it's more formed in your head.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's your experience, not
Mhm.
like a normal ghost that anyone can sort of
Obviously,
yeah.
not in the same way, but sort of like poltergeist in the way that it's not a lot of the time physically there, but it like takes over people, or not take
Yeah.
over people, but like it's in your head.
Yeah.
Certain
So it's
people
not
can see
physical.
things. Certain people
Yeah,
can't.
yeah. Right. Well,
Are you spiritual in any other way then?
Apart from like church and stuff like that.
Do you believe in the afterlife then? Like, what is your opinion?
I think I've gone through
reality of it?
phases where it's like I believe in the afterlife, I don't, and it's like I just think when I die, I die. Like I really don't care.
Mm.
Like I even said to someone like the other week, I was like, oh, when I die, please, like just make sure like once the grave is all set, just put a can of Carlin on the grave. Like,
Yes, lad.
just be a nice
Respect.
little way to go out.
yeah.
Just have your mates come around every once a year.
just
have one
put
card.
one Carlin on the grave, like
Mm-hmm.
just for a tribute to the sesh, you know.
I was thinking with that story,
Well,
it is.
putting a
I'm
carving on a
not
grave.
saying that I doubt any of what you just said, but it's coincidental that it happened the day he watched the Wizard of Oz.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I was like, it is odd how it wasn't like normally people say that when they've experienced
They
like,
don't
a
expect it.
a ghost, it's something that they hadn't seen before. But with yours, it was almost like because you said you felt uneasy.
Oh yeah,
As
the
soon
minute
as
the
you-
minute I saw her, I felt like it was honestly the
Mhm.
scariest thing I've ever seen in my
Do
life.
you think it could have possibly been like what's it called?
What's the thing like
sleep paralysis?
It's
So,
like a
you-
nightmare when you wake up.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
You still think
So,
you're
like,
partly in
I,
the dream.
I sort of think like it was a nightmare, but it was like it was too real to
Yeah,
be a nightmare.
really
'Cause, like,
real.
Too vivid, yeah.
I've had nightmares and it's like it's never been
Mm.
that scary. Like
Yeah.
that one still messes with me.
I've had I'm not sure if I mentioned it on the podcast. I've had like a sort of experience with waking up and being
We
I
can't
think-
move.
I think sleep paralysis maybe. I'm not entirely sure if that's what it is, but I don't know how I would find out. But I woke up and basically we used to have obviously we live in Malaga in Spain, which is where Picasso's from, and so we have Picasso paintings in the house, not obviously real ones, just like
Rich
just
people these days.
and so that we had like a Picasso painting in my bedroom, and it was directly like so. If I slept here, it was on that wall, so it was directly in front of me. And I woke up, and obviously a Picasso painting, it's not like a normal. It was just a picture of a guy, but obviously it doesn't look like a guy. He's got like
Yeah.
one eye, really really long face. Picasso style. So it was really freaky image of a guy. I don't know why my parents thought it was a good idea to have it in my room, but there you go. And I sort of woke up, and I'm not sure if I was dreaming about it before and that's what kicked it off, but it was like it was alive, the painting, and it was looking at me, or it was looking in the room, like scanning for life to like see if I was in there, see if I was awake. And so I was like, that's why I think it was sleep paralysis, because I think that was my brain reasoning why it was that I had to stay still. So I think I woke up and I was paralyzed, having this like half awake, half asleep dream about this painting, and I was like stuck in place. And I think the reason I thought that it was scanning to see if anything was moving, so I had to stay still, was my brain rationalizing why it was that I couldn't move.
That's just giving me the chills. I'm sorry. Like just listening to that is just giving me the chills.
Yeah,
like.
it was hard. It didn't even last like. Obviously, a lot of people say that dreams last a lot shorter amount of time than you think you experience them. Yeah. But it felt like it lasted like half an hour. And a lot of people say that sleep paralysis lasts like 2 minutes, 8 minutes.
I feel like that's how long. It's like my thing was obviously when I saw the face.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back on it now, it probably wasn't that long, but it felt so long.
Yeah.
And it's like you go through that stage of seeing it, trying to process it, and then trying to get back to sleep to like just make it all go
It's
away.
like the panic as well, like that sudden panic you get when you see something like that.
Have you two ever had anything weird happen in your sleep or when you've woken up or anything like that?
Probably, yeah, but I probably can't.
Mine are just down to drunken antics.
I can't think of anything at the moment.
Well, we had Jodie's story. When did we record that? Like 3 weeks ago at this point? It was ages ago.
2 weeks on Tuesday.
And her story involved, was it she felt like she was touched?
Yeah.
And it
was it her hand or something?
And it woke her up and she felt like the presence of like something holding her or touching her. Her grandma holding her. Which is what she thinks it is because her mum experienced the same thing, and it was like after her grandma died. That was her story, or part of it anyway. And then I just got a message. I was going to get it up, but it's on my phone, which is recording you two. I got a message from Jodie, which I've screenshotted, which I'm going to put on the Instagram as a story. She said that she was just now listening to the podcast today, bit late. Came out on Tuesday. And she said
Jack hasn't listened to it either.
I haven't listened to it.
Oh wow!
Been busy.
To be fair, James, have you listened to any of them yet?
Nah.
Okay.
But he subscribed. He subscribed yesterday.
He subscribed yesterday. Can we have a round of applause for James finally subscribing to the podcast?
I don't need to watch them on there. Joe Rogan doesn't watch back on his podcast, does he?
Yeah, but Joe Rogan is like really famous, and Richie's got other things to do. What are you doing?
Well,
uni work.
James
What you should be doing.
Not important.
James is really famous as well. He's got 12k YouTube subscribers.
The amount of clout, it's insane.
We could have got had he had promoted us.
I did promote it this week.
Did you?
Yeah, I put it upside down on Instagram.
Upside down.
Oh, so he did. So what Jodie said was that she was listening to the podcast, and as she was listening to it, and as she was telling a story, which is about, if you haven't listened to it, it was about how she thought that her grandma was trying to like communicate to her and her mother and like her family in general from beyond the grave in little ways, like she keeps on finding feathers, like white feathers, when she needs comforting and things like that. And she said that while she was listening to the podcast today, that something fell off her mantelpiece and she hadn't touched it. It just fell. So she was nowhere near it. I'll put the message that she sent me up on screen now. It will have already been on the Instagram stories. But she said that while she was listening to the podcast, the bit where she was talking about her grandma, something fell off the mantelpiece, which I was like, that is literally like the only thing that could be like communicating from beyond the grave that she didn't mention is stuff being manipulated around her. Yeah. So I thought that was really crazy.
Yeah, her grandma's on
she was spooked.
Her grand's a fan of the podcast then, inevitably.
Maybe she was telling her to turn it off.
Get it off. No, I'm sure she's a humongous fan. Okay, so at this point, I would like to divert the attention of all of us onto a topic which is very topical right now. I'm not sure how topical it's going to be when this comes out. Hopefully it's still relevant. Maybe you've got an answer to the story at this point, but the monolith in Utah.
And also the one...
Do you know about it, Alex?
The what? The monolith?
Some people call it a monolith. Some people call it an obelisk. It's just the big metal structure that's been found in Utah.
Put some photos over it.
I'll put some photos on the thing. Well, there you go. James
I'll show you a photo.
James doesn't know much about it either, so I can.
I know there's a monster behind it in a video.
A monster behind
What,
it.
is it just like a massive pulse?
I will explain it to you
How do
right
you spell
now.
it?
MONO lith. LITH.
The metal one.
If you put Monolith Utah, it'll come up.
But they've been popping up all over the place, haven't
Well,
they?
we'll get to that
What are these? One just randomly appeared in Utah.
In the desert,
in the desert.
in the middle
So
of
there you
nowhere.
go. So now you know what it looks like. Everyone at home knows what it looks like
What
because
the
I've put it
hell?
up. Unless you're listening on Spotify, but
That's a real thing.
It's a real thing. So I'll explain it now. Nothing like this has really happened since we've started making this podcast, so it's quite cool to talk about because it's happening in real life right now,
cool.
and we still don't really know what it is. But basically, about a week ago at this point, the Utah State monitoring people, I don't know what the name of the organization is, but basically people who just go through the Utah desert in helicopters, just like surveying the area.
I think they were
Like
like
rangers.
They were counting sheep or something, or well,
Um,
not sheep, but whatever
yeah.
animals they have there.
And they saw this big metal pole. It's 3 meters tall. It's a perfect like triangular
Cuboid.
column. I don't know, like a prism. I think that's what it's called. And it's really weird. They don't know how it got there. They went down to investigate it.
And apparently it was like sunk into the ground as well, quite some way.
It has a foundation a little bit under the ground. And then
Well, also they wouldn't release the exact location of it because it was so remote. They didn't want people trying to find it in case they got lost.
but people eventually did find out where it was. They went there, people taking photos, and then a couple of days later, literally like 2 days later, I think, just as mysteriously as people had found it, it literally vanished into thin air. So now it is no longer there.
It's
Okay?
popped up at 2 other locations since.
Right, it has popped up in 2 other locations since. That's a little bit further down the story. Recently, because just for this podcast, I've been trying to do as much research as I can. Recently, a photographer has come out and said that he knows how it disappeared, but we'll get to that. One of the things that obviously first comes to mind is how did it get there? Now, it's not just got there. It turns out, obviously they've only found it recently, but it's in the middle of a desert in Utah. It's not like somewhere where people go all the time.
Yeah.
People looked on satellite imaging on Google. It's been there since 2016. It's been there for 4 years, and no one's known about it. So it's only just coming up now that people have found it, but it's been there for 4 years. If you look, there used to be loads of bushes inside this big like crevice in the desert, and then just the next year of satellite images, there's no bushes there anymore, and there's now this obelisk in the middle. So that's weird. Obviously, a lot of people are saying aliens. A lot of people are saying a prank or something, but I'll get onto a couple of different theories. But basically, it disappeared. No one knew how it disappeared. That was even more mysterious than how it got there, because we then saw that it's been there for quite a while. Anyway, a photographer comes out and says that he was there when it vanished. And it didn't actually vanish. So he was trying to take pictures of it, because obviously it's quite an interesting thing to get pictures of if you're a new photographer. He's trying to like take pictures of it and the moon at the same time. And so he's there at night, and these 3 people, he starts to hear them coming and like running down the hill near where it is. And he hears them say stuff like, "Oh, here it is. And then they get down there, and he's like a bit of a distance. He can see what's going on. And then one of them gets to the bottom of it and pushes it, and it falls over. And so he turns around and says, "We don't need the tools." So then the other 2 come down, and then basically they say something along the lines of, "This is why you shouldn't leave your trash in the Utah desert," or something. And then they basically just pick it up and take it somewhere, which I think is a little bit, I don't know. Like,
Strange.
if it is something from out of this world, which is a bit unlikely, but even if it is just an art piece, like, a bit arrogant to be like, "Oh, we'll push it over." It's not really trash, is it? It's quite clearly something more interesting than that. But anyway, so that's how it actually left
Supposedly.
where it was. It's been taken by other people who have dismantled it.
It's a video on TikTok.
There you go. It's a video on TikTok. Thank you for doing your mid-story research as usual, James. But it has popped up in a couple of different places. So then in a hill in Romania, there was one exactly the same, 3 meters tall, that looked literally identical. And more recently in
California,
on a hill in California. And that one's actually now been removed as well, because Americans like to get rid of things. It seems. It's been like taken down, and the people put a cross there instead, as sort of like, I don't know, like a defeating the whatever this out of worldly thing is. It's like exactly. So that is this weird story. What do you guys think about it?
See one in Salford soon.
Yeah. Up on the hills of Manchester somewhere.
Be graffitied within like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's strange, like the fact that it's only popped up in these 3 locations. I mean, I guess more will pop up soon. It's only a recent thing, but it's quite a weird, eclectic mix of locations.
It's like the clown thing over again.
Yeah.
One person
the
clown,
scary,
and then
the scary
fucking
clown thing.
clowns pop up all the time.
That started in Northampton.
I was thinking, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was an American thing, but there you go.
It's like, because I remember, wasn't, how long ago was that? That was like,
It was when It came out, wasn't it? And they thought it was like a publicity thing.
yeah. And then they
It's
just
like
started
2018 or
turning
something.
out.
I think it was a bit before that, maybe 2016 or something. But maybe I'm wrong.
Probably.
But I
Usually are.
my first thought when I heard that there was new ones popping up all over the place, I was like,
It's an invasion.
I was thinking my first thing is that people are just copying it. So people are like, oh, this is cool, we'll put one in Romania.
Oh, for a trend.
Yeah. But I understand that one for California because that's sort of like California
Influencers need clout.
like,
It's the easiest way to
The
do it.
Americans are back again.
I can see it. But a random hill in Romania.
It is a strange place to put it. So I'm just
It is a strange place to put. Like obviously,
rearranging.
there was the Utah one and the California one are both in sort of a similar region of the US, and then all of a sudden Romania.
Do you
in
understand
Europe,
a map of the US and how similar Utah and California are?
Utah's near California, isn't it?
Not that. Utah's like the middle.
I thought.
But
oh,
they're both America, basically, is what you're trying
They
to say.
they both have deserts.
yeah. Isn't Utah where Las Vegas is?
No,
Oh, that's
it's like
Nevada.
That's Nevada.
Nevada. Okay, never
It's
mind.
American.
It's
It's like,
American.
it's like, it's like on the other side of Nevada.
Okay, cool. There you go. As our resident American, I would hope that you would know things like that. I've also got another story that we're going to talk about later that I'm going to need your American knowledge for. So hopefully you can enlighten us.
She's on geography.
So, what do you think? Aliens, artist? I've got something else to add to it in a second.
I'd say the first one was like, I'd say the 2 new ones were probably like copycat sort of things, just jumping on the trend and making it look spooky.
It could have just come from like not alien space, like just fucking like
But
art, like waste from space from like a ship or something that's just coming off during like takeoff and stuff.
No, surely not.
it would have burnt up in the atmosphere as well, and it's too much of a perfect sort of shape.
It definitely looks like it's been made.
Manufactured.
That's like the
an-
one thing that's
an
for
art
sure.
sculpture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just especially where it is. It's quite a scenic little place.
Mm-hmm. So
But Utah is notorious for like people going hiking out there and going missing.
Isn't Utah like where they look for UFOs? Like there's places in America like near the deserts. Remember
it's Nevada, isn't it? That's where
That's where Area 51
Area
is.
51 is in Nevada, I think. But that's again, it's near Utah. I think it might be the same desert. I don't know how it works. Maybe does it span different states? The same.
Yeah.
There you go.
Some deserts do.
So I will add a little bit of extra detail to this. There is an artist who has made similar things in the past that look pretty identical. Also, something I forgot to mention is that people think that it's designed off. There is a scene in
Space Odyssey.
2001 Space Odyssey where a load of chimpanzees, I think, stumble on a very similar looking thing. So it's almost identical looking. So that's a lot of people saying, oh, well, it's clear that it's aliens then because 2001 Space Odyssey is about aliens. But also, first of all, what? Well, second of all, 2001 Space Odyssey was made by humans. So, like, surely then it would, like, so it kind of makes it more towards it not being aliens. But then there's this artist who makes very, very, very similar sculptures. But he died before 2016, which makes people think, can't be him.
Copycats.
Then his son comes out and goes on the record for saying something like, as soon as he heard about this story, it threw his mind back to years ago when his dad said something along the lines of, I think it would be really cool for my art to be found in weird locations once I like when I wasn't here anymore. Like, so a lot of people are thinking maybe he's asked someone to make these things like post-mortem and posthumously
erect it.
Yeah.
As well.
We're recording this on Friday, the 4th of December, 2020. Maybe by the time you're watching this, it's all been solved. Or maybe
we've been invaded by aliens.
Maybe we're all dead.
Rennie's been probed.
Maybe this episode won't make it to air. Maybe we'll all be be enslaved by the aliens by that point. Who knows?
Alex will be in the afterlife living up because we'll be leaving it.
I'll be in the
With his Carlsberg.
Carlsberg.
No, the can of Carlin on the
Carlin.
Oh,
ground.
Carlin. Sorry.
Why Carling? Why is that your go-to? Do
When it's like really cold, you have to have it really cold.
you put it in the freezer?
No, I leave it in the fridge for a day or two.
Ooh.
That's how you like it.
Class, yeah.
There you go.
Do you drink out the can or do you put it into a glass?
Oh, no, drink out the can.
All right.
You can't have a warm pint.
You can at festivals.
Oh, that's grim.
A good topic to sort of come. Oh no!
You will touch me then.
Sorry. A good
Corona.
a good topic that kind of stems from that
Carling.
that we can talk about is aliens. I'm not sure if we've discussed aliens that much on the podcast. I don't think we have.
Really?
And we've got Alex here, so we can ask him about it as well. So obviously, if you don't know, I'm not religious, not really spiritual either. Like, I'm atheist, and I'm about as atheist as someone can get, if I'm being honest.
And
so-
skeptical as well.
Yeah, and skeptical. I don't really believe in ghosts. That's sort of the dynamic of the show, I think.
So would
He's
you,
had a lot of paranormal experience.
here's a question.
Situations.
Go
Would
on.
you ever do a Ouija board?
Yeah.
I would. My family wouldn't be very happy about it because they're like, oh yeah, we don't really think ghosts exist either. But why would you chance it? Like, you don't get anything from doing a Ouija board, and that's mainly my thing. Like, I don't get anything from doing it,
Yeah.
so I'm still scared by stuff.
You
Like,
might get possessed.
if someone tells me a ghost story or I watch a horror film that's got poltergeist in it, just because I don't believe in it doesn't make me not find it scary. So
See, it's like I would do a Ouija board. I just feel like I would get possessed.
right.
Like
They come after you.
I just feel like a spirit would take over, and it's one of those things that will either live inside you
Mhm.
or just follow you for like the rest of your life.
Right.
Could be a good thing. You need to be optimistic about it.
I love
This spirit could be a fucking genius. Could have powers. You could be a millionaire next week by doing this Ouija
Maybe
board.
this spirit looks like the Wicked Witch of the West.
Don't say that! Don't say
You're-
that
you're
to
gonna
him.
say that.
You're giving him nightmares tonight.
Don't
Alex is not sleeping. I don't understand why you won't do it. Why, like, your family are like, oh yeah, you don't want to chance it just
No,
in
so
case.
here's the thing. It's quite a weird situation for me because I'm so strongly atheist, which I don't mean to come off in any way disrespectful. It's just like how what I believe. But at the same time, I'm so obsessed with ghosts and
Hence the
paranormal
podcast.
activity. Hence the podcast. Like, the coming up with the idea for the show, I watch a lot of paranormal media. I watch so much of it. It's one of my favorite things it interests me so much.
Conspiracy as well.
That's why I was like, okay, making a podcast, what is it that I want to talk about? It is one of my favorite things to talk about, even though I don't believe in it. I don't know what it is. It interests me so much. But something that I do believe in is aliens. Not that we've encountered them. However,
just believe their existence.
just believe that
Because
they
of the
exist.
vast area
Just
we live in.
mathematically
I think that
makes
as well.
sense. So I
Not necessarily how we
Perceive them.
portray
no
aliens.
certainly not. But
But yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that is something that does pique my interest whenever a story comes up that could involve aliens, because a lot of people have aliens and ghosts in the same sort of space of just like, oh, don't say it's aliens, or don't say it's ghosts. I do think that aliens is slightly more realistic of a thought than ghosts. Doesn't mean that I think that this obelisk is from out of this world, because I don't. But it's something that I like to think about.
Do you reckon aliens have been on this planet before?
I don't think so. I don't think that.
So Area 51 is just fucking pointless then?
There is a really interesting story that I've showed Jack.
The Tic Tac.
The Tic Tac. Basically, there is a lot of stories about ghosts, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories about ghosts. I am really not someone for conspiracy theorists. I don't think that 9/11 was an inside job. I don't think that the
Definitely
moon
was.
landing was a hoax.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of conspiracy theories about aliens, and I would like to say any of them, except for one, which I think holds so much weight, and it's one that is
Do you mean aliens the whole time you were saying ghosts then?
Oh, I've been saying ghosts.
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant aliens. There is one alien conspiracy that I think holds so much weight, and it's one where basically the military has seen something on their radar in the Pacific Ocean, and they've gone to investigate it with
A
jets.
submarine.
No, with jets. And they've spotted it in the distance. They've then used the radar things to lock onto it, and there is
They're tracking it. weren't they?
there is tracked videos on the internet which have been declassified by the United States military as being like, these are real videos that we have made. It isn't a conspiracy theory that these videos exist. They do exist. The conspiracy theory is, what are they? And they're basically
Weren't they traveling faster than the jets were?
Yeah.
traveling faster than the speed of sound without making sonic booms. Something that is physically impossible as far as we're aware
And they were traveling
without
in
technology.
the directions they were traveling in as well.
Yeah.
Like doing a cross over
Yeah.
the
So
ocean.
it was just the way that they were moving. It's really spooky. Maybe we'll do an episode on it in the future, but that isn't really paranormal. It's more aliens.
But didn't
So-
Trump come out and say that aliens are real? That's part of his fucking.
Trump says a lot of things.
Trump does waffle.
I swear he came out like when he started losing, like saying that aliens are real or something.
They're interfering with the votes. The aliens are voting Biden. God bless him. Okay.
I can't wait for January when Biden takes over and
Oh.
Trump releases
Imagine.
everything.
All the nukes.
Nah,
going off
all
all
the
over
stories
the
about
place.
Area 51, all this, everything
All
in
the
that book.
stories from the White House.
JFK was assassinated. All this stuff. 9/11 was an inside job.
The moon isn't even real. We're a flat Earth. The Earth is flat.
Yeah, someone was
That's the
trying to
next one
claim.
to
I
come
was
out.
watching something the other day. Someone tried to claim that the moon's not real.
Okay, so we've had a very interesting podcast. We've discussed loads of different things. One more thing that I would like to end on as our main point of conversation is I've got a story here, Christmas themed. Very, very heartwarming story. It's not a spooky story like yours. Yours was scary. This one's more of a paranormal experience that warms the cockles of your heart. Just in time to leave you all for Christmas. So with that, I will get into quickly reading this story.
Am I having a sneak peek?
It's called A Very Paranormal Christmas Story. I found this on the same subreddit, just in case anyone is interested, that me and Jack read the stories off for the Halloween special episode. So maybe it's just
Great
something I'm going to
episode.
keep. Yeah, great episode without James in it. Okay, so A Very Paranormal Christmas Story. Every year around the holidays, there is a Christmas tree raffle in my hometown. The hometown is somewhere in America, James, so I'm going to need your expertise in a moment, so pay attention.
Yep, I'm listening.
Every year around the holidays, there is a Christmas tree raffle in my hometown. Every year, my mother enters the raffle and does not win a tree. Even though she never wins, she still plays. The money goes to some good cause, so she's happy with it. This year was like any other. She takes my sister and my niece down to the raffle. They see a few trees worth winning: the Patriots tree, the tiny Charlie Brown tree, and the tree she thinks her mother would like. So, James, what I want to know is, what are the New England Patriots?
They are a football team
Okay.
in Massachusetts,
So
in
that-
Boston.
That might be an idea of where these people are from. Charlie Brown, that's the animated character, I know him. So this is clearly an American story, maybe set in Boston, but there you go. So this mother likes to do this tree raffle, and there's somehow a tree that's like the football team based from Boston, Massachusetts. That's a bit weird, but there you go.
They are very patriotic. They're about the Patriots. Kissing.
There you go.
Delusional.
It goes on. That night, my mum dreamt she got a phone call from her father. In real life, her father has been deceased 7 years. So this is the person who's telling this story. His grandfather has been dead for 7 years. He says to her in her dream, "Your mother won a tree," which would be his grandmother, and she is still alive. She replies, the mum who's having this dream, "But Dad, Mum didn't buy any raffle tickets." And then in the dream, the grandfather says, "Fine." He responds a little irritated, "You won a tree." The next day, my mum is all excited. She tells my sister that Grampy told her in a dream that she would win a tree this year. She picks up my sister and niece and they drive back to the raffle to load raffle tickets under the tree that they really want. So basically, the way that it works, the raffle, is that they buy tickets and then they put it underneath the tree that they want. So they put all of the tickets under the Patriots tree, which is the New England Patriots football one. The next day, she gets a call from the raffle people. She won a tree, but they say she has to come and get it now. Excitedly, she races down to the raffle to claim her prize. She looks around the lot. No Patriots tree. So that's not the one she won. After some frustrated searching, she figures out that she must have won the tiny Charlie Brown Christmas tree, which was the only one that was left, even though she didn't put any tickets under that tree. She then, on her way to the car, she admires the tree. She thinks to herself that the little tree would look perfect in her mother's kitchen. Then the thought pops into her head. Her father's call from her dream in the night before. "Your mother won a tree," he said. She realizes at that moment that she is holding a Christmas gift from a husband to his widowed wife from beyond the grave.
Wow.
That's a real story that someone has said, that has sent in to a Reddit page.
That's sick.
That's crazy.
I thought that was such a nice story. A love story that knows no physical bounds.
I don't get it.
Oh,
This person's mother
Yeah.
has gone to a tree raffle, which is just somewhere where you put like tickets under a tree
I
that you
got
buy. So she's put all of her tickets under one tree.
Yeah.
She then has a dream where her father, who is dead,
Yeah.
has said that her mother, so his wife, has won. She is alive.
Yeah.
Has won a tree. This
Yeah.
is all in her dream. She then says to the father that the grandmother
Never.
put a
Yeah.
ticket under any tree. He says, "Okay, fine, you won the tree then." Anyway, she wakes up. She's really excited because she thinks
gets
it's a
a
good
call.
omen. She gets a call. She's won a tree. She goes there expecting to see the tree that she's put the raffles under. It's not there. The tree that she apparently has won is the Charlie Brown one, which she didn't put any tickets under. So she's like, this is some like miracle type thing.
Yeah.
And she on her way taking it back to the car, she's thinking in her head, this would look good in my mum's kitchen. And then she remembers the dream that she had the night before,
Yeah.
where her granddad said, or her dad said, that it was her mum that won that tree. Because obviously she didn't put a raffle under the tree, but neither did the actual mum who got the thing. So then she thinks to herself that this miracle was a gift from the grandfather to the grandmother from beyond the grave, which I think is a lovely story.
Very nice.
And with that, we will begin our goodbyes for this episode, for this season. No, not this season.
It's not. It's
Sorry.
Just for Christmas.
My bad. We'll say goodbye for the Christmas break, for the holiday break. We hope that you have a wonderful time with your family and that you get all the presents that you want and you have a delicious dinner. Thank you very much to Alex for coming on the show and telling us his stories and chatting with us. He's been very interesting. Thank you very much to James and Jack for joining me.
Cheers, mate.
And thank you very much for me and the podcast as a whole for listening. Happy holidays, everyone. Oh, wait. Would you like to tell the people where they can find you? Have you got a podcast of your own that they can listen to?
I got a radio show on Shock Radio Monday night, 9 p.m. It's called Sound of the South, where I play upcoming music, sort of hip hop, rap, that kind of stuff. So if you want to listen to that, that's the one. And then I'm in the process of making a podcast called The Divide, which is talking about growing up as a black man and my friend Laura growing up as a white woman in society, and sort of the divide and sort of different mindsets people have about different sort of things. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. Both of those will be in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. Go give those a listen if you like Alex as a person, and why wouldn't you? He was so great. If you want to follow the podcast, you can do that. It's on Instagram at dead_air_pod. It's the same on Twitter. You can follow all three of us on Instagram and Twitter as well. It'll be in the link in the description if you're watching on YouTube, or you can find it if you're listening elsewhere. Thank you very much. Anything you guys want to say?
Just Merry Christmas. Or
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
Holidays, mate.
Happy holidays.
Happy
to all of
holidays,
our
Merry
listeners.
Christmas.
Merry
Kwanzaa.
Christmas.
Thank you for listening to the Dead Air podcast this year.
Subscribe.
Like I did.
Like James did yesterday.